Hi everyone, FlyOver here and welcome to the new video. And in today's video we are going to check on one mode for default aircraft in the MSFS, and that is Icon A5. Okay, so you can find this mode on flightsim.to and I will leave you a link down in the description. And actually what it does, it doesn't change anything graphically or clickable in the cockpit or whatever. It changes only performance and physics, and you will see a huge improvement because it is going to match original aircraft in the real world. The mode is only 3.5 MB and you can easy download. You can just install in your community folder and it will replace your original Asobo aircraft A5 icon in the list of the aircraft. And if you don't like the mode, you can always remove it from your community folder and that's it. It is uninstalled. It will not change or leave any permanent damage or anything in your Microsoft Flight Simulator, so you no need to worry. Okay, so let's just jump in the aircraft and let's actually start from cold and dark. This is going to be also a tutorial how to start the aircraft. So first what we need to do is look up and click on the fuel valve to turn on the fuel. That is here and you're gonna search for it and it's going to be up here. Okay, now when we turn the fuel, make sure that your parking brake is on. So this is on, this is off. So make sure your parking brake is on. Okay, now you press the master switch and turn on electricity. As you can see, okay, everything is on. You can actually check all the lamps here, test them. Yes, everything working. All right, now we can turn our transponder, put it on ground. That's it. Turn on our strobe light because we don't have beacons in this aircraft, so strobe lights will be your beacon that you let know everyone around aircraft that you are going to start. And after that you will just click the key and your aircraft is started. That's it, super easy. You have included actually documentation in this mode. When you download the folder, it will be one folder inside which say documentation, and you will find a checklist inside and all other information that you need, including a change log with everything what is changed in this aircraft from original. Okay, we have fully functional GPS here. As you know, we can click here and you can see we have fully functional GPS, but we don't need that GPS at this moment because we are going just fly around the airport. And I will show you actually how you can land on the water, how you can land on the runway, and how you can take off. That's it. I mean, not in that order, but okay. All right, let's go. Let's set our flaps to 15. That is actually, you have only two stages of flaps and 0 of course. So for takeoff we are going to press flaps 15 or first stage of flaps. You will also add a little bit of trim, but not much. And what we are going to do now is actually release our parking brake, advance throttle just a little bit so plane start moving, and let's turn. We're gonna pick up this guy because I don't know why Asobo putting those guys so close to the aircraft, but what to do. And let's go taxi. All right, original aircraft Icon A5 will be steered with differential brakes, but since we don't have differential brakes here, we will just steer with the rudder and you will have no problem with that at all. Okay, so while we taxi to the runway, Let's stop here. That's why we use checklist. We forget to turn on taxi lights. And now since we exiting on the runway, we can also turn nav and land lights. Okay. Now we can taxi further. So again, advanced a little bit of throttle until aircraft start moving. And later you can pull that throttle back. If you need more speed, you can add a little bit of thrust, but most of the time no need. Because this is ultralight aircraft and it's super easy to maneuver with it. And let's go to the beginning of the runway. Actually, we don't need whole runway because this aircraft is amazing for bush trips too. And you can land in super short runway. You can take off from the super short runway, and you will see that right now because I'm going to show you actually when we take off how you going to take off from the super short runway. Well, almost at the end, so let's just make our turn. See, I don't have throttle at all. It is totally on idle, and I will even use my brake a little bit to slow down. And let's make a turn here. We don't have to go all the way to the end of the runway. We are not big plane, right? So let's make our turn and line up with the center line. See, everything I do actually without thrust. Okay. Now, if you are taking off from super short field, you will still keep flaps on 15, and you will keep your brake, and you will advance your throttle all the way up. And when it's stable, you just release your throttle, and as soon as your aircraft reach 40, you are going to pull up. And that's it. So 40 knots and up. Now we can lift up our landing gear. And if you want to climb, of course you want to keep full thrust. If you don't want to climb high, then you just release a little bit of throttle to enter the green zone, and you are good to fly. I can pull my flaps up now, and trim is extremely responsive. You will see it is super responsive. It is amazing, and I'm trimming it non-stop, and it's really super responsive, which is good. And now I'm going to make a turn. I'm going to overfly the airport and show you how to land on the water. So let's just make a U-turn, if I want to express myself in that language. Make a U-turn and then overfly the airport, because on the other side of the airport we have a huge mass of water where we can land, and that's why I choose this Queenstown airport in New Zealand, because it's a beautiful scenery, really beautiful scenery, and it's amazing to fly with this aircraft around. I was flying around between those hills and everywhere, and it was just amazing. So I think you're gonna love it, right? Okay, so as we approaching to the water, and we want to land, right? We want to land. So what we're going to do is release throttle a bit, just so your nose start to go down, and then you pull flaps, and that flaps will actually straighten you out. Of course you will need to trim a little bit, but you trim your aircraft to go slowly down towards the place where actually you wanna land on the water. So you can pull your throttle back again and set up full flaps, and again trim your aircraft. And now when you are very close to the place where you're gonna land, actually you can totally put your throttle to idle, because this is ultralight aircraft. Like I said, it can float a long time without thrust. And now as we are close to the water, we will aim for the speed of like 60 knots, and when we are really close to the water, we want to flare a little bit, and that's it. We are on the water. But remember, do not fly or sail towards the land, because we don't have brake on the water. That is something. I mean, you can brake, but you will not brake. Okay. You can control your aircraft in the water even without water rudder. But if you want better control, you just lower down that water rudder here, and now you will have better control if you wanna park somewhere, or you wanna you know, just sail in between the gates or something. If you need more precision control, you will just need that water rudder. But for takeoff, we don't need water rudder, so I'm going to pull it up. Okay, flaps stay 30, so you will keep your full flaps for takeoff from the water, because you want to lift from the water as soon as possible. And what you're going to do is advance your throttle a little bit. With rudder you will control where you, in what direction you want to fly, right? And as soon as you hit 40-50 knots, you can start pulling up, and that is how you take off from the water. It's super easy, super simple. Now we can release one flaps, stay on flaps 15 if you want to climb higher. If you don't want to climb, or you don't need a thrust, you can just pull all flaps up, and that's it. And of course always use your trim. Now when you establish your cruise altitude, you will pull on your throttle to enter RPM in the green zone, so we are not overdoing the engine. And let's just fly back to the airport, and let me show you how to land on the firm soil, actually on the runway, right? My god, this is so beautiful scenery here, and that's why I like Microsoft Flight Simulator, because it can bring me to places where probably I will never go in the real life. I don't know, maybe I will one day. It is my big wish actually to visit New Zealand. Actually it will be nice to live there, but it's almost impossible. But at least to visit New Zealand, and there is two places I really want to visit, and that is this one, Queenstown, and also airport called Milford Sound. Orbix has beautiful scenery for that airport, but unfortunately not for the MSFS. I believe maybe somebody already make it, I'm not sure, but I couldn't find any Milford Sound for MSFS. Okay, as we have a runway in sight, we can start slowly to slow down. So release your throttle a little bit, pull up flaps 15, trim your aircraft for the runway, of course. Now you drop down your landing gear. Don't forget, when you're landing on the water, you will not need a landing gear, but if you landing on the runway, you are going to need it. Now flaps stage 2, and you just aim on your runway with a very little throttle, something like 4000 RPM. We are just aiming for the middle of the runway. That's it. And after you pass the threshold, you can totally put throttle on idle and you will float nicely. You will float nicely on your touchdown zone. And then you flare a little bit and lower down your nose. And that is how you land on the hard surface with this aircraft. It is super amazing aircraft and you're gonna love it because, like I said, it can land on the water, it can land on anything practically, and you're gonna love it because it's amazing for the bush trips. If you are flying somewhere, you just wanna drop down to see something for short and then take off again. You can do it. You can do whatever you want. Thank you very much for watching this video and see you in the next one. Hopefully you like it. Please write me down in the comments if you like this mod. And of course, like I said, see you in the next one.